Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Celena. This is a special episode on tonight. We come to inspire, to motivate, to inform. So you all are in for a treat. So I'm so glad that you all decided to join us on this Saturday night for this very special episode. So if you all will give me just 1 minute, please. Let me see here. I need to copy. And this gives you all a minute to share the video because we do want other people to see this very important yet sensitive topic. Okay, so I'm giving you all a minute while I'm multitasking over here just to share this video, please. And I'll be right back. There we go. So this is what I want to share before we get started. You all know that this morning we had the Songbird of the South here, and he gave us some unexpected news. I wasn't expecting it to go in that route. So I want to just make sure that I give you all this disclaimer before we get started, that if you are triggered by these topics, please seek professional help, because sometimes we don't realize how things may affect us. And I just want to make sure that we're taking care of our mental health, and that you all realize that these are testimonies that people are sharing, their experiences that they're sharing. And so it's not meant to replace any professional help. So just keep that in mind. And if you are triggered for any reason, please seek professional help. Okay. All right. So Sunshine, I love y'all so much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for sharing the video. Now let's get right on into it. Y'all know my admin will get upset with me if I don't tell you to go to Celena10.net. I'm putting it all on her. Go to Celena10.net to keep me from getting in trouble. This is February. And so if you go and you purchase something, you will get a free gift for the month of February. Okay. It's the month of love, and we love you. Okay. Whew. I know y'all tired of seeing just me. Y'all cannot wait to see the guests. That's what y'all came here for tonight, because y'all get me all the time. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you tonight's guest. O'Shea Richardson is the CEO and founder of Luna Luminous, a nonprofit organization inspired by her daughter, Luna Bella, who was stillborn on December 6, 2023. Luna Luminous provides comfort and healing to mothers who have experienced a stillbirth by delivering care packages filled with thoughtfully curated moon-themed items such as candles, ornaments, blankets, and star maps to hospitals nationwide. Did y'all hear that? Nationwide. Through this initiative, O'Shea aims to bring light to families during their darkest moments, and create a supportive community of remembrance and love. So you all, please welcome to the stage, Miss O'Shea Richardson. Hey, girl.
Hello. Hi, everybody. And thank you once again, Miss Celena, for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Yes, so thank you for joining me tonight. I hope that the introduction, you're satisfied with it. Um, I cannot wait to hear your testimony and just let you take over. We're gonna have a conversation. So we're here to love on you, to support you, to share your nonprofit, to share your testimony so that we can get the word out about how you dealt with your grief, how you dealt with all of the emotions that came with it. So, if you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get started.
Sure, absolutely. I might as well start at the beginning. So, back in 2023, I believe I found out in the very end of August. I was actually about 10 or 11 weeks when I found out I was pregnant. I was kind of far along when I found out I was initially pregnant. Um, and then I was nervous at first because I already have a son. He is 7 years old. So the prospect of me having two children was very scary because I come from being the only child. I have a sister now, but we have a 20-year age gap. So I'm just used to just one and done, But I was excited to have a mini me. I was. And then everything in the pregnancy was normal. I literally had just had my last ultrasound November 20th. And then something that a lot of people don't know is that I had a dog. I had my dog Reese. I had her since I was 18. I was 30 years old in 2023. She passed away the evening before Thanksgiving. So I lost something that was very, very close to me. That was like my first child initially. So I lost Reese. And then on December 6th of 2023, that's when my journey started. And that morning, I woke up and got ready to work. For work, I took my prenatal vitamins. It was a normal morning. And I remember I was sitting at work, I was in training, and I had to go to the bathroom. I felt a lot of pressure on my bladder. I'm like, well, she stays on my bladder. So it was common for me to use the restroom a lot when I was pregnant with her. But I remember I went to the bathroom and I peed as normal, but then it felt like it was just nonstop, and then it was a lot of pressure, and it was like a big pop, and then I looked, and the whole toilet seat, the toilet, everything was covered with blood. So I'm
Mm.
trying to remain calm. I'm in the workplace. I'm thinking I want to clean this up. I don't want to have to tell anybody what happened. So I try to remain as calm as possible. Like maybe it's something simple, maybe I pushed too much. I don't know. Maybe I overexerted myself. I don't know, but I tried to remain calm. I did clean up the restroom as much as I possibly could. I told my manager, hey, I know I'm in training, but I'm bleeding. I have to go. He said, take care of your business. I called my boyfriend. I called my mom and dad, letting them know, hey, I'm just going to the ER to see what's going on. I called the doctor ahead of time, let them know, sent them pictures so they can be waiting for me. And when I got to the hospital, and I got straight up to a room, I remember they were able to pull her up on the ultrasound, and I was able to see her, and she had a heartbeat. And so I remember I had sighed relief, like I know she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then they told me that my water had broken, and she's only 21 weeks, so she will not survive outside of the womb. And I remember at that moment, it's kind of just like a darkness came over me, like a cloud, because from that moment forward, everything was just a blur. Like it wasn't reality to me, as if I had stepped outside of my body and was
Mm-hmm.
watching these things happen. I couldn't believe it. And we sat in a room for hours before they even took me to labor and delivery to give birth, which I felt like in that time we could have tried, to save her. But by the time I gave birth to her, it was around 6 o'clock. Got to the hospital around 1 or 2, and I gave birth to her. She was already passed away, and she was 21 weeks, and she was born blue and purple, so she pretty much suffocated. I like to think that it just happened to her in her sleep. I don't want to think of her last moments suffering inside of my body, out of all places. And the rest of the time was just a blur. They came in there about 6 hours after I gave birth to ask me, do I want to bury her or burn her? Like literally, I had to make arrangements for her burial not even 10 hours after giving birth. And so I made a decision to have her cremated so I can keep her ashes. with me. And then they also ask you things like, well, do you want to perform an autopsy to see if there was something that caused the stillbirth to happen? I did decline the stillbirth, the autopsy. I didn't want to cut her precious body. I really wanted to take her home and just, keep her forever, but I couldn't. But I know I turned down the autopsy on her, and I just told them they can do whatever tests they need to on me. They had my placenta. They drew more blood. They took swabs. I told them do whatever on me, but nothing to her. And I will say the saving grace was that UC has a partnership with Spring Grove Cemetery. Is located here in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I didn't have to pay for anything. They took care of the cremation. They even gave me a urn. It wasn't custom or anything, but it still was a pretty urn to keep her ashes in. They also gave me a death certificate for her, and they were even gracious enough to put some of her ashes in a necklace I had purchased for her. So that was a blessing in disguise, not having to worry about the financial burden of burying my baby. And then when I went home from the hospital, life was just it was very, very hard for me. Like all of December was very, very hard. Christmas was very hard. I didn't even want to be around my family, and thank God for them. They were trying their best to cheer me up, and
Mm-hmm.
it just wasn't there, that
Mm-hmm.
like that first initial Christmas after everything happened. And then just going into 2024, I was just really depressed most of the year. And, it was times where I thought I can't live life anymore because I don't know how to process this grief. This grief is too much for me to process. Like, where do I even begin? It was times, weeks where I wouldn't even come out of my bedroom. My employer at the time, they were gracious enough. First of all, they paid me out of their own personal, my manager paid me out of his personal account for those days that they let me take off, because I hadn't even been with the company a month when I had my stillbirth. So I'm really thankful for that company for doing that for me,
Mm-hmm.
giving me that time to grieve, but then also making sure I still was paid for those days. So I was very, very grateful for that. And then we had very open communication. So if I needed a day, or if I just like, hey, I'm having a moment, I'm not feeling this, I need to clock out, like, hey, Shay, do what you need to do. Just let us know when you're back. So I was very, very gracious from my employer for doing that. They were amazing. All of 2024 definitely supported me. Um, I remember though, the initial feeling that I felt was numbness. I felt shocked. I felt embarrassed. It was a time where I felt embarrassed, and I didn't even want to tell people that I had lost my baby. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to tell people because I didn't want people to think like I'm a failure as a woman and as a mother because I couldn't protect my child that was in my body. So I didn't even want people to see me. And the few people that did know, what I was going through, I closed myself in. So in me grieving, instead of me opening up and letting people come to the house, a lot of family, close friends wanted to come and check on me in person, and I declined, or I wouldn't answer the phone just because I shielded myself away from that love and support. And that is something that's on me. Like, I can take full responsibility for doing that. But in my grief journey, I have just learned to embrace my emotions and also embrace the love and support that I get. Don't push people away that are trying to help me, because we all need help sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I had to learn, because me, I kind of like would go inside myself because I didn't want people to know I'm struggling emotionally, or whatever struggle I'm going through. I really didn't want people to know anything like that. I always want people to see O'Shea on the up and up. But I had to learn through my grief journey that it's okay. We all have bad days. We all have grief. We all grieve something or somebody. We all lose people. And all we can do is lean on each other if we ain't strong enough to lean on ourselves. So
That's right.
that's my journey. And then I started to find groups of women who have also went through either a miscarriage or a stillbirth, because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to feel normal. And I will say, hearing other women go through the same thing is one of the main things that helped me feel better about myself and what I went through. Because now
That
it's
you're
like,
not alone.
right, I'm not alone in this. And it's a group that I'm in now, and it's through a nonprofit called Sales, Born into Silence. And what's so crazy is I just had my year anniversary. We were going to their groups, and it was a mother in there who had just lost a baby like a week ago. And it was a trend. Any group that I'm in, you always get new mothers joining, and that's the very sad, depressing part about it is that this list doesn't stop.
It just ain't stopped.
We're losing thousands of babies every single year, and we don't even realize. Like stillbirth and miscarriage is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, or they push under the rug because society is just like, oh well, you can have another one. You're a woman. That's what you're made for, to give out babies. So just try again. But it's not that simple. When you
It's
lose
not
a
that simple.
child, yeah, when you lose a child, you lose that hope. You have hopes and dreams for this child coming into the family. So like you lose that hope, then it's like you have all this love for this baby with nowhere to go. So like that love that you have, that turns into tears because I can't physically give it to my baby. So it turns into tears. That's when the grief comes in, the anger, all of that. And it's just because it's literally love with nowhere to go. So that's when it turns into grief. So we have to find something to do with that grief so we can hold on to our babies in a positive light. And I just thought that I had hit a turning point in my grief in the summer of 2024. And the main reason prior to that, though, let me say, prior to that, I was very depressed. But what happened was my job. I told her, hey, I'm struggling. I'm very depressed. I was talking about leaving the company because I just wasn't mentally in the right headspace to be working at that time. And they said, hey, you know what? Look, we got an Airbnb. You can go there for like a day or two, get yourself together, and then, come back home and come back to work. And so they were gracious enough. I actually went to the owner of the company that I worked for. I went to one of their vacation homes. It was by a lake, or on a lake, I should say, and I stayed there for 2 days. They did not charge me. I ended up meeting the mother-in-law, the father-in-law. I met a sister. So I
That's
pretty
called
much
favor.
I
Favor.
was literally in the family, but the fact that they were gracious enough to give me that time and space to do that, it really. And then the owner's wife, she came down. Her name is Michelle. I love her graciously. She also had suffered 2 miscarriages, so she knows how I feel. She came down to the home and spoke with me. We ate dinner and chit chatted, and we took a walk down to the lake, and we were talking as if we were like best friends for like 5 or 10 years now. That was our first time meeting in person. So it just shows that some people really do care, and they can look outside of a job or outside of
Yes.
anything and say, hey, this is a human being going through something and I can help, so I will help. So when I came back from that trip, though, that's when the tides changed. And that's when I thought about doing something to honor Luna, but also honor the other babies that we're losing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when Luna's luminescence came about. And then what Luna's name means is actually moon, and then Bella actually means goddess. So her name means moon goddess. And so if you look at the moon is just illuminating light. And I thought about lighting paths to hope, because losing a child, you are in a very, very dark place. And sometimes you can stay in that dark place, or you can choose to climb your way out of it. And I think that's what helped me on that trip. I really had to make a decision as to if I was going to stay stuck on December 6th of 2023, or I was going to take that day with me and hold it, cherish it in my heart for the rest of my life, but turn that pain into a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to not want to talk about my loss, but then I realized that talking about it actually made me feel better, because every time I talk about her, I am remembering her and
Mm-hmm.
I am honoring her.
Mm-hmm.
So just the impact that Luna's luminescence can have on families, these families will also know about Luna, just because Luna lighted a path for me to find hope. And now she's going to do that for other families as well. And so that's when the whole Luna's Luminescence came about. So yeah, that's pretty much how everything started for me. And then coming into 2025, though, I want to say I am just truly, truly blessed to be here and to be in a completely different spot, just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, than I was a year ago today. You know, a year ago today, I wasn't coming out the room. But now I'm happy, you know, I'm up. I mean, this necklace right here is actually some of her ashes, and I keep it with me all the time. So it's just like the place that I'm in is truly a testament to mental health and just surviving and just getting help. If you need it, seek it because it's okay. We all have bad days. It's times where we can't get through something alone and we need that help, and it's okay to reach out for it.
It is definitely okay. And you are very strong and you did an amazing job sharing that testimony.
Thank you.
Um, you do have to step away. So you had favor with your employer for them to offer that time because that sounds like the pivotal point for you. That's when you decided I'm either going to go this way and stay stuck, or I'm going to go this way and turn this pain, this grief into my purpose. And so we're so thankful that you decided to go towards your purpose because it's going to help so many women. And like you said, hundreds of babies are being lost every year and you don't hear about that stuff, and so you are bringing awareness. And for groups, a lot of times groups are private and you feel like you can only go to the group if you even know about the group, or you got to know somebody that knows somebody to get in the group. But here, this is a public platform that's going to be here today, tomorrow, next week, next month. And so your testimony, your story will be here in order to help someone that's in that dark place,
Yes.
maybe just found out. Maybe someone just came in and said, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a burial or do you want to cremate? And they can reflect back on, what? I can carry my baby with me around my neck, whatever their decision is, you will have helped them. So this is truly a blessing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's my mama.
I know she done already said that's my baby.
And you know what? My mom, she never experienced a stillbirth or miscarriage, but the fact that she had to witness her child go through something so traumatic, and she also lost a granddaughter. You know,
Hmm.
her and my father, they were definitely looking forward to having another grandchild because Lord knows, they spoiled my son Anthony to pieces. So they were definitely looking forward to a daughter. But for her to be strong the way she was, and if I called her crying or, mom, I don't want to do this, I don't want to get out of bed, for her to also be grieving and to be able to be strong for me is just a testament to the strength of mothers in general.
Hmm.
It's a strength that I admire, and I feel like one day, hopefully, I can be like that for my son. If he ever has to go through something that breaks his heart, I can be that strength for him. But definitely, my mom was very strong, and then also other family members of mine, would reach out and support. And I learned that several of my great aunts, my grandmother on my dad's side, I learned so much about these women just sharing things that they have been through in their lives. And then also some of my family members, told me, hey, back in this day, I had a miscarriage too, or I had multiple. And, this is what I did to survive. That also helped me as well, knowing that some women in my family has also experienced this type of hurt and this type of loss. And then my grandmother on my father's side, that woman called me every single day, every day. And she's like, you don't got to talk back, baby. Just know that I'm here for you whenever you're ready to talk. You want to cry, you want to do whatever, I will be here. So my grandmother, both of them, but my grandmother on my dad's side, definitely testaments of strength that even in older age, they carry so much strength and wisdom, not only as mothers, but as grandmothers. And when you lose a child, everybody loses a child. I lost a daughter, my boyfriend lost a daughter, but our parents lost a grandchild. If we have our grandparents, they lost a great grandchild. You know, my aunts, they lost a niece. So it's like it affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a ripple effect, but you have to be strong. You have to have like embrace that support. And that's what I didn't do at first. But now, looking back on all the support that I did have, I embrace it so much. And I'm so grateful to have a strong line of women to be able to support me and also understand that I was going through a tough time and I just needed time to be able to
Don't stop, Mama. Don't stop.
I needed time to be able to process my emotions. And this past Christmas, we had a time. We usually do like karaoke, and I participated this year, and everybody was so happy. Like, oh, Shay up, Shay happy. Yes, I was all involved this year because I knew I had Luna with me. Regardless of what was going on, she was there, and everybody knows. And my mom also has a necklace as well with some of her ashes in it. So I'm definitely just learned how to embrace the emotions. You know, I still have bad days. I still cry. Sometimes I can look at her pictures and I can smile, or I'll do things like, oh, she was gonna have my eyebrows, or she was gonna have her dad's nose. You know, I can do that some days, and then some days I'll just break out crying. Like, why are you not here? But that's
Mm-hmm.
just the process of grief. You know, it
Grief.
hits you
Yeah.
positively and negatively, but instead of pushing it away like I was doing or trying to hide it, embrace it and just let your feelings be a passenger instead of a driver. And that's
Mm-hmm.
also something that I learned on Hi Anthony. That's also something I learned on my journey is that whatever emotions I'm feeling, instead of being embarrassed about it or trying to hide it, embrace it. But hey, let them feelings know you cannot take over this driver. I'm the driver, you the passenger. You can sit here for a while. But after that, you got to go because I'm in control.
You can only stay for a little while.
Exactly, yes. And that's what I had to learn through my grief journey. So I just think that for me, what helped me feel better was finally embracing what
Mm-hmm.
happened to me. Saying that, yes, I did lose my daughter. My daughter is dead, but I don't have to die with her. And just because she's not with me physically, she's still in my heart. She's still a part of me every single day. I think about her and I will mention her name as if she is here right now, you know, and talk about her to her brother Anthony, you know, or talk about her to my sister Deja, who is 12, you know. So it's just like she is a part of me every single day, even though even though she is not here with me physically. So I just want to be a guiding light for other mothers who are going through this. I can't take the ride for you, but I can be a passenger with you. You know, I can take that ride with you because I'm on the same journey myself, you know, and just tell mothers like it's okay to, you know, feel the way that you're feeling. You're going to feel anger towards yourself. You know, I blame myself for a couple of months. Like, excuse me, like, oh, this is my fault. Like, oh, you know what? I walked too much. Or you know what? I shouldn't have did this. I shouldn't have did that. But truly, but truly, there was nothing that I could do or could do go back and change that would have prevented that outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because through the testing, they actually couldn't give me a reason. So to this day, I don't know why it happened. They just said I had a spontaneous birth, which means my water just randomly broke. Which is funny because when I had my son, they had to break my water. I was in full labor and my water wouldn't break. So,
Mm.
and a lot of times with a lot of stillbirths, you will not get a direct answer as to why. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with not getting that full closure as to why it
Mm.
happened. happened. So I was angry with myself. I was also angry with healthcare because you could not provide me with the answer as to why I lost my daughter, you know. And I thought, like, you know, maybe it was more that could have been done. And I remember in my days being alone, I was doing research on survival rates at 21 weeks and stories of babies who survived at 21 weeks. And, you know, but it's like none of that research is going to change what happened to me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's just like if this baby did survive at 21 weeks, mine's didn't. And I have to be okay with that, you know. So just even saying outside out loud that she is not here is bringing it to reality to me. And now that I have accepted that this is my new reality, I can take those steps to move forward with light and positivity in my heart. And that is my whole entire message. I just want to help other women have light and positivity in their heart after they have faced such a tremendous loss like that of a child. This is a child that you didn't even get to say hello to properly, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to say goodbye. You had so many hopes, so many dreams for this baby, and they're gone now. You know, so I definitely want to be, I just want to help other women. If you know, I want to get to a point where I have like a hotline that like directs to me, and a woman just lost her baby and she's in a hospital crying. I want to be able to talk to that mother, say, hey, I got you, I've been there, I know how you feel. You know, if the hospitals, if I go up to the hospital and I can talk to the mothers, I would love to do that because I just want to be supportive and help out as much as I can because I've been there and I know exactly how you feel, you know. And the journey is lifelong, you know. It's not a race, it's a marathon. You know, I'm going to grieve my daughter to my dying breath. And that's
Mm-hmm.
with anybody who has lost somebody close to them, you know, especially a child. You never forget, and the grieving doesn't stop. It just gets a little bit easier to process as time goes on. But like you have those hard reminders, you know, like her due date was April the 15th. So last year, that day I was nervous to wake up on that day. We did do a balloon release for her, and I got choked up, but that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
Her birthday, I actually did a thing on her birthday. I donated her Pampers to a nonprofit here in Cincinnati called Sweet Cheeks, and they help out families in need if they need Pampers and things like that. And I had got like what, I had 6 boxes of Pampers. I was doing some shopping when I was pregnant, but I had boxes of Pampers that I did donate. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna make this a tradition. So every year on her birthday, I'm gonna donate. I still have a bunch of her clothes. So next year on her birthday, I'm gonna donate some of her clothes to another nonprofit who helps out families in need, and it's just going to help me. I'm remembering her, but I'm also doing a good deed for others. Instead of me sitting in a house being sad and depressed on this day, I can do something that's going to positively impact someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I plan on doing moving forward.
Well, that is awesome. There is just a couple things that I want to say is you had said this goes way back to a comment. You said one day you hope that you could have the strength of your mother for your son. And I just want to let you know that you already do, you know, because he also lost a sister. And
Yes.
so he's seeing that strength in you. So your mother showed you that strength, and now you're already showing your son that strength. So I just wanted to put that out there for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you know, also like you said, when mothers are going through and they're at the hospital, because I heard you say um, they left you sitting there. And
Yeah.
so, if you can have someone who is there that's empathetic, that has been through that same journey, that grief, that anger, that unknowing and uncertainty,
Yes.
and you can say, listen, I know this is a scary time, but I'm here. Because they'll just leave you sitting in a cold hallway,
Hmm.
lobby, room. I mean, you know, I don't know. That just seems so cruel to me because
Right.
you
Right.
already said that the baby is not going to make it. And then you
Mhm.
just let me sit here. I know when I had my miscarriage, they, the lady was so rude.
Mm.
They told me at the doctor's office, and I just didn't even want to accept what they said. I'm like, can somebody else double check? Because I'm calling the doctor like, are you sure? Because
Right.
I just came and we had a heartbeat. Now you're telling me, well, you definitely were, or there was, and
Mhm.
talking in this past tense to me. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so when they sent me over to the hospital, when the lady came out, she said, well, you already knew what the answer was. I mean, like, with nothing, just, okay, we redid it, you knew what the answer was, just cold. And oh, I was so upset. Like, I was so upset with that lady. And then I had to actually just go through the labor. It
Mhm.
was so painful. And you do get good nurses, good doctors, but you also can get some that will just make you be like having to call on Jesus and say,
Yeah.
this is not what you're supposed to do in life. But we make it through, but others don't always understand if they have not experienced that.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they
They'll
don't.
say, well, you should be over that, or just have another one. Like you said, just have another one. Well, another one is just that. It's another one. It's not this one.
Right.
Nothing can replace your child.
Exactly, yes. And I want to thank you for sharing your miscarriage story as well. I always love to hear other mothers who have gone through it because you know firsthand the pain. And I'm so sorry you had to go through a nasty nurse. I want to say like the doctor was nasty. I'm not, because, it almost kind of felt like she wanted to cry herself. But, I just always feel like there was no reason why I should have been left in that room. Y'all should have induced my labor immediately, but instead I'm sitting here for hours. It's almost as if you're like, let's wait for the baby to pass away before we induce her labor. So I never understood why I was sitting in that room for hours. And it was actually me and my boyfriend. He was definitely there the whole step of the way, but I never got an answer as to why. But I will say the saving grace was, there was a nurse. His name was Bob. Bob was about 80 years old, but Bob Bob was the best
Bob
nurse.
love what he does. If he's still
Yeah,
there at 80.
Bob been to both of the wars. He was in World War I and II.
Oh, wow.
He was telling me stories about it, but I feel like God placed Bob there with me to help me, because once the dust settled and once I was able to clearly remember my time in the hospital, Bob was that first thing I remember. Bob was so kind and so gracious to me, you know, immediately after giving birth to my daughter, and she was already gone. Bob was amazing. I mean, my family can attest. He was amazing. And my aunt, she actually works at the hospital where I gave birth. I told her, please get Bob a gift and say it was for me. I told her on two different occasions, get Bob something for me, because that's how amazing he was. And he's still there. That's crazy. Out of all the women nurses, Bob was the one that I remember out of my experience, because that's how caring and sensitive he was to what was going on. I almost feel like Bob needs to teach classes to
Mm,
new nurses coming in,
yeah.
because what you went through, it's just like, okay, you're trained to tell. You probably see this often, but guess what, this is my first time going through this, so give me the respect and dignity I deserve, to tell me with a little bit more compassion that I'm losing my child here. This
Mm-hmm.
ain't like a bird I just got yesterday or something like that. This is a whole baby that's in my body,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just like, I hate that you had to go through that, but you know what, it's common, and that's sad.
It
I've been
is
in
common.
I've been in other groups, and I've heard worse. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard the doctors say, "Oh, we'll get this over with, and you can get pregnant within weeks." And it's like, you're this coming from a doctor.
Yeah.
It should be like a medical board. We should be able to report these people to and get immediate answers, because what if they said that to someone who wasn't strong enough to survive?
Right.
And people don't think about that. It's all about how you say things that
It's
could be
the
the difference.
delivery. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it could be the difference between life and death. People kill themselves, all because of how somebody said something to them. But it's
Yeah.
like that could be prevented,
Mm-hmm.
and in the field like hospitals, the first thing you should do is have compassion,
Mm-hmm.
so I absolutely hate that you had to go through that.
And it's just, it's part of our story, it's part of our testimony, and I, at this point, I don't even know if I regret any of my journey.
Hmm.
I don't. I used to. I used to be in this dark place, having a pity party. Why this had to happen to me? Why this had to happen? I mean, but the longer you live, the more you're going to go through. It's just a part of life, and we get stronger. The closer we get to God, the better we are able at dealing and handling things. And I also believe that God places people in our lives, like He placed Bob in your life right when you needed Bob. You and I are connected now, and I just don't feel like anything happens by chance. And when it's supposed to happen, it does happen. We can't always explain it, but we have to accept that as well.
Yep.
And forgive yourself. That's one thing I feel like I say on almost every show, because we carry so much guilt and so much shame, and it's a burden that we should not have to carry. You did what you needed to do for your pregnancy, and it happened and there's no explanation. And so, now she's with you, you're walking in your purpose, you're blessing other women, you're talking about hard topics like stillbirth, miscarriages, and you're helping, and you're going to continue to help.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And then last year actually I was invited to a nonprofit gala for the group sessions that I attend. They're through a nonprofit called Sales, and I was invited as an honorary guest. So I was invited to this gala where everybody was dressed up so fancy, and it was other mothers that was there who had lost babies, and they got to speak and celebrate one another. And like you said, I just think that I had to make a choice first, and then God started just slowly but surely laying people into my life,
Mm-hmm.
that can help me, be able to manage my grief, take a hold of my grief, but then also live my purpose moving forward. Because I have made some amazing connections since my loss that I don't believe I would have made had I chose to be swallowed into that dark hole and just not find the light at all and just be stuck on the initial day that I lost my daughter. But since I decided to move forward, I was able to meet some amazing people. And I feel like I am going to continue to meet amazing women as well. And what I want to say is that us women, we're so strong. We go through a lot as women, and we need to support each other more.
Mm-hmm.
Like me wanting to support other women who have been through miscarriages, and people look like, oh, you're strong. You strong too, baby. You just got to realize it, just like I had to realize it. I had to realize I can do this, and it's a bunch of women, out there that just need to realize that you can get through this as well, and it's not anything that you should feel embarrassed about, because it's definitely something that society makes us feel embarrassed about as women. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of women keep their stories to themselves for that reason.
For
Like,
that
I'm
reason.
embarrassed. Yeah, like I'm embarrassed. I want to keep this in, so I won't tell anybody I'll just get pregnant again. But you shouldn't have to suffer in silence, because that pain, that grief is going to eat you up eventually until you just have like an
It does.
outburst,
It
you
does.
know. So yeah.
And open yourself up to that help, to be encouraged, because like you tried to block it out because you're like, I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to talk to anybody. And that's how a lot of people deal with it. But the one thing that you can encourage people to do is not to do that. Like, don't try to carry this burden by yourself. If you have loved ones that's trying to help you, receive that help. That's what we're here for, one another, just for that purpose, to help in times of need, to help in times of grief. So that's one thing that I definitely want other women that may be going through it. You don't have to suffer in silence. There's other women out here There's other Bobs out here that
Yes.
are willing to help you be that support. Sometimes we're so weak, we need that strength of others to help us see I got a support system. I can make it through this. I don't have to get sucked in this dark hole. I don't have to be, in this pity party depressed for the rest of my life. I have purpose. And that's the reason that I'm still here. So I'm
Yeah.
turning my pain into purpose, and I'm honoring and remembering my sweet baby.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And then you know what? You said give yourself grace, and I want to tell you when I actually was in therapy, and my therapist was a man. His name is Patrick Henry, and I recommend anybody to Patrick because he is awesome. He's never experienced a stillbirth or a miscarriage. However, he was able to conversate with me and talk to me in a way to make me feel comfortable, and also as if he, not go through the same thing, but he knew how I was feeling. And so one thing he told me in the very beginning was to give myself grace. And I remember I will write that on. I have a calendar that I write dates on, and I also have sticky notes. That was on my sticky notes and my mirror in my bathroom, and it was on my calendar. And I would just have to tell myself to give myself grace. It's gonna
Yes.
take time, and if you're not okay right now, that's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Because you will be.
Exactly. It takes time. And I remember in December, I did not believe I would have any more good days. And he said, it's not about whether you will, it's about whether you believe you'll have those good days. Do you want to have good days? If you want to, they'll come. See, but if you don't want to, then you won't never have another good day. And then I'm like, you know what? He's right. It's all about what is in my mind first. Because
Hmm.
we can think positive and then positive happen, or we can be negative and then negative happens. Or we'll never see the positive because we're always thinking about the negative.
Hmm.
And so, giving grace is something I would say to everybody, and just find what works for you. Some people work out, some people write. I had to do a bunch of things to figure out what
You
worked for me.
you got to figure out what works for you.
you
Exactly.
you got to do it till you figure out, you know what, this works for me a little bit better. I have a playlist dedicated to my daughter, and if I feel like I need to get a good cry in, let me go ahead and pop this playlist on. I know it's gonna make me cry, but I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna get out my system, and then I'm gonna smile.
Hmm.
Or
So
if
the playlist works for you, and what else did you find worked for you?
what else worked for me? Talking about it, just sharing my story, saying her name more, not being embarrassed about what happened to me. That
Mm.
also helped me a lot. That probably was the biggest thing, just
Talking
talking
about
about it myself to others helped me so much. That was probably the main thing. And then journaling. It was a new app on the iPhones called the Journal, and you can like talk to it and it'll like type it out for you. That was my best friend for about I think my last entry was probably like July or September of last year, but I probably got like 300 pages now because I was,
Hold up, girl. Hold up. I got a phone right here. So it's an app called the Journal.
yeah, it was like on the update last year on the Apple phones, and it's called Journal, and the app icon is like blue and orange. It looks like a notebook that's open.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see if I can find that. You didn't help me out.
Yes, definitely download that app, and you can like change like the background picture of the note, and you can like talk to it. It has the date in there. I believe you can add music to it as well. Like if you want to add a song to the note that you're making on that day, I believe you can do that. It's probably been some updates since the last time I used it, but it was very instrumental in my journey because it was updated and it was on my iPhone and my iPad. So I used it on both whenever I felt like I needed to get something out my mind and then get it on a piece of paper or on my phone so I can look at it visually and be able to look back like, man, look how I was feeling on this day
Mm.
compared to how I'm feeling right now. So
And
I'm
that's
definitely glad.
one key thing right there is getting it out of your head onto something, whether it's paper, voice memo, whatever it is, because that stuff piles up on the inside and just eats you alive. Like it's that poison that you
Yeah,
need to release, and you need to find a way, like you said, whether it's exercise, journaling, whatever, however you feel, dancing,
Yeah.
whatever. Just make it healthy for you. Because I know
Yep.
for me, I would go to food
Mhm.
and you can overdo anything. And let me tell you, I don't know moderation when it comes to food. Look at my cheeks. You can tell,
You and me both.
girl, you could tell I don't know moderation whenever it comes to that. But, find healthy ways
Mhm.
to deal with it, and so yeah, I think after we get off you're gonna have to help me find the journal because I don't see it. Uh-oh, somebody must have called her.
Listen, don't feel bad because I got some fat cheeks too. Lord knows I love me. I can eat those all day.
What is it that you love?
I'm sorry, what'd you say? It was freezing.
You said you love what?
Okay, hold on. I'm having a technical difficulty here. Look like it's froze on my end.
And
Okay,
I
hold
can hear
on.
you just fine.
Why can't I hear you? Okay, hold on. Ah, oh my God, Miss Selena, you gotta fix it. I can't hear you.
You have to go out and come back in. Let me
Hold
see.
on. Let me.
Oh yeah, she did it. So while she's doing that, we're gonna do a commercial and I will be right back. She's so cute. Hang tight, my sunshine. Conversations with Celena. We'll be right back. Hey, sunshine.
Okay. Am I back? Can you say something?
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't see you.
Yeah, I can't hear you. I don't know why. I have one bar, so I'm not sure if I'm in like an outage or something right now. I hope not. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
So
I wonder if I leave and come back in, will that fix it?
it might. You can give it a shot.
Okay, let me try that really quick.
Okay. So while she's doing that, I just want to remind you all again to go to Celena10.net. There's some older episodes. Go find you an episode, listen to it, share it. We do have great information over here, just like O'Shea's testimony, her nonprofit. Oh, there she is.
All right, I am so sorry about that, everybody. Everything is fixed, so I can hear you again. So I am so sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No need to apologize. But yes, so your testimony, I was just saying that your testimony was amazing. You have a nonprofit. So now that you're back, I'm gonna let you tell us a little bit more about the nonprofit and how people can help you.
Okay, sure. So, absolutely. The nonprofit is called Luna's Luminescence, and we do officially have an Instagram page right now. I am still in the beginning stages. So, I just submitted all of my paperwork to become officially tax exempt. I did submit my paperwork to the IRS since it is tax season. It may take a couple of months. However, in the meantime, though, I can still take donations because what happens is once that 501c exempt status is approved with the IRS, it backdates to the actual date I submitted the application. So any donations I receive in between that time frame will all be tax exempt for the people who donate. So you don't have to worry about that as far as me not being legitimate or anything. I'm definitely getting my paperwork together. So you can find us on Instagram. I don't have a Facebook yet for Luna's Luminescence. However, I do have a link tree where I have a link to the website, to our Instagram, and a link will be coming soon as to if you want to donate or just learn more. If you want to donate your time or you want to donate your money, it will be all of the links for that will be in the link tree as well. Also, if you want to just share your testimony, you don't have to provide a name. You can share your testimony anonymously, but you just want to say, hey, this is my story. This is what I did. It's all appreciated. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can inbox Luna's Luminescence on Instagram, or you can inbox me directly, O'Shea R on Instagram. I will respond. I will be like your new best friend if you are needing that help and that guidance for someone to help you. And then moving forward, the plans for the nonprofit is to get multiple partners in the hospitals and also in funeral homes in Cincinnati, but then also other areas as well. I want to be able to make sure that not only like grieving mothers won't have to worry about the cost,
Mhm.
because that was a big saving grace for me, just being able to worry about grieving my daughter and not the cost of burying her. So
Mhm.
that was a real blessing. I want to be able to provide a grant or scholarship that women can just use anytime they have experienced a miscarriage or a stillbirth in the hospital setting. And then also, if you do experience that in a hospital, I pray you don't, you will receive a curated care package that is moon inspired, but that's just because the moon just means light. And we want to help you get to that light place after being in the darkness, going through such a traumatic loss like that of a child. So, what you'll get is a candle. I can show you a sample here. Give me a second. This is a sample, but this is essentially what the candles will look like. The logo will be bigger for you, but you'll get this in the hospital with a very calming scent. And you can actually write on these, which I didn't know at first, but you can write on, let's say you want to write your child's name on the back. And you light this candle every time you think of your child. It has Luna's luminescence on it, the scent, and the date, her date of birth, which is December 6th of 2023. I want to be able to provide those to hospitals around America, but then eventually the world. I definitely want to expand this to be worldwide because the stigmas that are here in America are awful, but they're even worse in third world countries, where women don't have the care and support that they need if they ever experience something like a stillbirth or miscarriage. So within the next 5 years, I do hope to become global and help women on a global scale. Want to be able to go out and talk to women all around the world who have experienced the loss and just provide care packages, provide resources. If you want to read books about how to process your emotions and grief, there's also books to give to kids of the child that passed away. I lost a sibling. It's one, and it's really amazingly illustrated to help a kid understand loss, in a very simple way. So I definitely want to be able to just help women on a global scale. But I also want to include the families as well, because the families are just as important as the mothers who lost their babies, because that the family piece is the support piece. And also, you don't want to say the wrong thing at the wrong time to a family member that had experienced the loss. So I think that's important, as well as to make sure that families know how to care for a family member after, such a traumatic loss. So that's the plans for me coming up.
That is awesome. And as I was listening to you talk, I was like, you know what? We really got to start speaking things as though it's already done.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
uh, we ain't hoping we're going to be global. In 5 years, I will be global. I don't even know if I would say five because the Lord might say three. So you
Right.
putting the time. So I will be global. I am global. I am global. I am this. Whatever it is that you want to do. Same with me. It's always, well, I want to, and I hope. We got to stand with our head up and our shoulders back and say, this is what I'm doing.
Put it in the universe already.
Already done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So I cannot wait to see what you will be doing in the very near future, because it is going to be amazing.
Thank you.
I
Thank
have
you.
enjoyed this. I do want to ask you, because I'm trying to ask a couple of the same questions at the end.
Mhm.
So we talked about a lot, but if you had just a golden nugget, like a sunshine golden nugget, that you that you would want someone to take away from tonight's episode, what would it be? What would it be? If you don't remember anything else I said, just please remember, and I want you to fill in the blank.
Please remember to give yourself grace, honey.
Give yourself grace.
Man or woman, give yourself grace no matter what you are going through. Please give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up if the world is already doing it. You got to be the one fighting against the world to lift yourself up out the mud. So just give yourself some grace and say it's going to take time. If I don't get it today, tomorrow, next week, it's coming. Like Miss Celena said, I already put it out there into the universe. So the universe ain't got to get ready. They already know what's coming. They already know what you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely give yourself that grace for whatever you are going through. Please, 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 because grace will save you.
That's very good. Very good. And then if you could tell your younger self something, if you could tell they calling you Angel over here, right? And Shay. So
Yeah.
if you could tell that little spoil um only child something,
Right.
only child at that time, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, Shaya, girl, you is stronger than you know. You complaining about this teensy weensy spider over in the corner here, and you gonna be going through some things in life that you think you can't survive, but you are gonna handle it with grace and with tact. And it may take time, but you are gonna get there. So I just would like to tell my younger self, you are stronger than you know, girl. You're going to go through some things that are going to test you. They're going to shake you to your very, very core, but you're going to survive. Like me today at 31, thinking back like 10 years ago, that O'Shea would, I couldn't imagine going through something like this, but I've gone through it. I'm living in it and I'm still here. And
Yeah.
so that's the testament right there. Like that's like just showing up in the past to old O'Shea. Like, hold on, you from the future. Like I was like that right there already be a lot. But just you are stronger than you know. It's definitely what I would tell my old self.
That was very good. That was great answers, girl. That was
Thank you.
look. If the phone wouldn't have messed up, I was gonna ask it to you. Then we was gonna go to commercial breaks to give you a couple seconds to think about it. But that was perfect.
Oh yeah, no,
Love
see, I
those.
already know.
Yeah, you already ready. Always, always ready. So now you're in Cincinnati, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the only way that you can volunteer, or do you have other ways for someone that is not in your local area to volunteer or to do something that may help your organization?
Oh, absolutely. Now, you do not have to be in person to want to volunteer your time. If you sign up to volunteer, I need help with graphics right now. Like, if you want to volunteer your time to do some graphics for Luna's Luminescence, that would be greatly appreciated. Just really spreading the word, honestly. And you don't even have to sign up to do that, but let's just say you want to sign up to volunteer your time because. There's an event in your community. Let's say you live in Chicago and there is a mental health event or a women's health event, and you want to pass out some Luna's Luminescence flyers. You can absolutely reach out to me, and I will definitely send you some flyers at no cost to you because you're doing a solid for us to definitely help get that support out there. So you don't have to be in Cincinnati. You don't have to be in Kentucky to be able to show your support or volunteer. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna get you to. I got a big mouth, so I'm gonna volunteer. I'm gonna volunteer today, so you
Okay.
can send me some, and that's how I will help over here in Iowa. And
Okay, perfect.
so yes, I will do that for you.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. I really,
Yes.
really appreciate it.
Well, you did great, girl. This was amazing.
Thank you. And you know what, Miss Celena, I do want to say I really appreciate you having this platform to give small owners like me a voice to speak and
Mhm.
other people as well. Because I've seen some of your other episodes, and you are just the sunshine name fits you perfectly because your smile and laugh is infectious. So
Oh,
you are
gosh.
beautiful inside and out, and we need you, Sister Sunshine Celena. So thank you so
Oh,
much. I
thank
really appreciate
you.
it.
Oh, my goodness, girl. You making me blush, these big old chubby cheeks. Big old chubby cheeks. But that's what we need. We are encouraging and uplifting one another. And
Yes.
so thank you for that. I needed it. This is going to be an amazing year for us. I know
Yes.
January was a very long year.
Ooh,
Notice I said year, not month. January was a long year, but
already. That was the
already, but
trial. That was the free trial. Did the year just started now?
the year just started. Yeah, that was a tester month for
Yep.
us. But this month, and I do want to say this before I go, because maybe this will help somebody. So I was sitting here earlier thinking, like, what can I do in February, right? Today is the very first day. Sometimes we get so caught up on Mondays. I'm gonna start on Monday. I'm gonna start on the first. Well, yesterday I did start trying to push back and start fasting. So that's one thing. Let me get my phone because I made myself a note because I knew I was gonna forget. But you're gonna show me that journal so I don't even have to type. So what I said for February, and this is for me. Did it not say?
Uh-oh.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't type it all, but we're gonna have favor in February.
Love it.
Favor in February. And it was something about finish. So we're gonna finish what we started. So whatever
Hmm.
you started, you're gonna finish it in February because you
Yes.
already have the favor. So I think that we're always waiting on God to do something, but God is
Hmm.
also waiting on us to do something. So it
Right.
doesn't even matter. You could have started your nonprofit, follow through and finish it. You could have
Hmm.
started a book,
Right.
sit down and finish the book. You could have started a class, go back and finish the class. Like we're at day one,
Right.
right? And this is definitely January showed us that we got to have something else. We got to have something else to be able to do,
Right.
not just to not just to focus on, but sometimes to kind of fall on. Like you
Hmm.
can't just have one skill set and not working towards something else. So while
Right.
we're scrolling on social media, we need to be doing some personal development. And so
Hmm.
I'm working on me. If you've been following me, I'm always trying to work on me. Every month I'm trying to do a different challenge. I might fail, but listen, I get back up, I try again March 1st, April
Right.
3rd, whatever. I'm still back.
Right.
And so I wrote finish a book because I have numerous books that I've started. So I do want to
Hmm.
finish a book. Fasting in February. I'm working on my finances in February.
Hmm.
I did see that I needed to file a dispute. So those are all F's. Finish a book, fast, finances, and file a dispute because we have favor in February and we
Yes.
need to finish what we started. So,
Yes, ma'am.
so yeah, I wanted to share that. I hope that was good for somebody, and I definitely hope that you will join me
Hmm.
in my February finish what you started
Yes.
challenge. And
Yes.
so yesterday I went to 1 o'clock.
Hmm.
Today I went to 3 o'clock. When I tell y'all, because this big back over here, I wake up ready to eat. I wake up ready to eat, thinking about as I'm eating breakfast what I'm going to eat for lunch. So for me to be able to say, you know what, I got to work on my discipline.
Hmm.
And you got to work where it's a struggle. You can't say, oh, well, I'm not going to watch TV when you already don't watch TV.
Right.
That doesn't work on your discipline. So
Right.
yeah, so I wanted to share that. Hopefully somebody will join me because it's so nice to have an accountability partner. Somebody
Yes.
can say, okay, Sunshine, what you over there eating? Did you eat already? I'm gonna have to send you one thing that it was going around where
Uh-huh.
the girls were supposed to be on a diet
Uh-huh.
And the girl's like, I don't know, I'm over here eating this broccoli. What about you? You know, and she was like, I'm so hungry. And that girl sitting there eating a hamburger, talking about she eating broccoli. But it was so funny. I had to redo one of those. So I'm gonna have to send it to you. But
Yes, no.
do you have any final words before we close out this episode?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have a conversation. And I want to shout
Thank
out
you, beautiful.
I want to shout out everybody who tuned in, especially my family. I love y'all to pieces. Y'all know y'all my peoples. But also just give yourself grace. Whoever is watching this, giving yourself grace no matter what you're going through, because you are stronger than you know. And like Miss Celena said, speaking into existence, if you're going to change something, say, this is going to be done by this date, or even prior to this date, but I'm going to get it done.
Going
So I
to do that.
think that's the
Oh, the devil is a lie. Listen, I just want to say to the family, y'all really did show up for her. Y'all showed up for her on tonight. And thank y'all so much for the comments, for the compliments. I really appreciate it. And for a conversation with Celena family, I hope that her family will become my family. But for you all that have been following me, thank you so very much for being here on tonight. Share this video. Go share a smile and spread some sunshine. Until next time, y'all keep it smiling, sunshine. Mwah. Have a great night.